the esteemed pleasure to be sitting next to a personal friend of mine, the honorable, holistic hero himself, Mr. Chris Hines. Pastor, how are you today?
Man, I am incredible, man. Just glad to be with you and just enjoying my day.
Well, for those that are out there that don't know a lot, give us a little bit about who you are and what you're all about.
Well, I am the senior pastor of the Way Church in Norfolk, Virginia. I am 31 years old. I've been doing it for going on 10 years now, and I'm excited about where I am, what I am, and why I am.
Wow. So how did you get started in the ministry?
Man, I got started. My grandfather was the founder of the church, and at the time I was very heavily involved in music. I had toured with some people and done some production. And in March of 2006, my grandfather got diagnosed with cancer and died 30 days from the day.
Wow.
In April that he was diagnosed with cancer. He asked me on his deathbed if I would take over the ministry, and I reluctantly said yes. And here I am 9 years later.
Wow. Okay. So what does the term ministry mean to you exactly?
Ministry is really a subjective type of term, and it means so many different things to many people. But I think the most impressive way of expressing ministry is simply meeting the needs of people, not necessarily their desires or wants, but meeting their needs.
Awesome, awesome. So as a pastor, how broad is your job description? You're talking about meeting people's needs.
Well, my description, I think, is very broad because I have a responsibility to give people the inspiration and information that's necessary for them to be prosperous and successful in their life journey. But also it's very relational because I have an assignment to provide a touch. There are so many people who just need a push, they just need a hug, they just need a I love you, they just need a I appreciate you. And you'd be surprised at how many people are just existing and not living, not really having an understanding of purpose or an essence of who they are. So it's a really big assignment, but I'm excited about being a part of it.
So what are some of the benefits someone can expect from experiencing that touch or your ministry at the Way?
Well, I think the greatest benefit is that I'm going to do the very best that I can to provide God without church.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I appreciate church, I think church oftentimes can be a stumbling block to getting people to really understanding the true essence and value of who God is. Church is a culture in and of itself, but God is a spirit. And I think that there is this awakening that's happening, that people are spiritual or more spiritual than they've ever been. But oftentimes the dogmatic approach of church, the legalistic views of church, the religious ideas and dogmas of church oftentimes becomes a stumbling block, and we get more church than we get God. And I believe that if people get God, then everything else will take care of itself. So I really do the best that I can to provide an experience where people can really get God with a holistic approach without having to deal with some of the religious dogma that has been problematic to us.
Gotcha. So what do you think is one of the, I guess, biggest misconceptions that people have when it comes to pastors and people in ministry?
I think the greatest misconception is that we're not human. I really do the very best job that I can to make sure that those who I serve know that I'm human. I make mistakes, I have issues, I'm not perfect, and I'm walking out my own life's journey as well. The only significant difference between me and those who I serve is that there is a call on my life to be able to help them, but I need somebody to help me the same.
Wow, okay. What do you think is... describe what you didn't expect coming into ministry that you found rewarding.
I did not expect the relational aspect of ministry to be so rewarding. I grew up, my only sister was born when I was 14 years old. So I grew up pretty much as an only child, very sheltered, went to private schools my whole life. So I didn't have a lot of friends, didn't connect with a lot of people. So I never really saw the value in connecting and touching and being relational. And to be honest with you, my first few years of ministry, I wasn't very relational. I loved to preach and I loved people, but interacting and hugging and touching and all those different things, I didn't really see the value of it, so I really didn't participate in it. But as I've gotten older, and as I've seen my children grow up, I've learned the value and learning the value of just being around people, loving on people, they loving on you. Something very significant happens when your good energy is released and you receive their good energy. It's very powerful when you can just touch people and love on people and they love you back.
That's amazing. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. So from a legacy standpoint, how would you want Pastor Chris Hines to be remembered?
Man, I want them to put on my gravestone that I did my best. I really think that oftentimes we compete with ourselves because we lack the validation and the affirmation that we really need, that gives us that push to let people know, we're good. I often think of LeBron. It took him a championship to know he was good. And I've been doing this thing long enough now. I've had enough bruises, enough bumps to know that I'm doing my thing. But I want people to know that I really do the very best that I can to be as honest and as truthful and as much of an example as I can humanly be, to let them know that if I can do something with my life, they can do something with theirs. I dropped out of high school, had a baby when I was a teenager, got young. I got married very young in my life, and I was able to overcome all of those different things, get my college degree, pastor a successful church, and balance some of the things that I have to balance in my life. And I just want my life to be a testimony. I want people to be better because of my mistakes.
Wow. You are human. So, Pastor, for someone that's new in the area, or someone that just doesn't have a church home, what insight or advice would you give them as to how to go about searching for a place of worship or ministry?
Well, the first thing that I would tell them is you want to find a place that feels like home. Home is a very significant idea because home gets you comfortable enough for truth to be able to do what it needs to do in your life. We're less defensive at home, we're less guarded at home, and we're more powerful at home. So that's the first thing that I would share. The second thing that I would share is you got to do the work to dig in deep to know what you need over what you want. Oftentimes, man, trying to eat healthy, greens don't always taste good, but I got to eat them. Because they're necessary for me to be healthy. And so I would encourage them that even if it's not the way, I hope it is the way, but if it's not the way, that you find a place that helps make you better, that doesn't make you comfortable, that doesn't excite you about where you are, but more importantly, gives you a future about where you're going.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Pastor Chris Hines for taking this time with us.
Thank you.
We'll keep more coming for you. This is GainGreater.com, folks.